Tarmac stages in RBR are the most delicious part of this game. Yes, they are good gravel stages as well. Karma Run is one of my favorite. I made video about Torsby, it's a good snow stage. But Tarmac stages here, in my opinion, this is the strongest part of RBR. Variety of Tarmac stages, for every taste. I've tested all Tarmac stages in RBR and today I'm gonna share with you 25 of my favorite ones. Using this stage as an example, I will explain the criteria by which I made my list. This stage doesn't look better than many of stages of my list. The main advantage of this stage is configuration. After trying all the stages in RBR, I realized that this is the most important thing for me. Configuration of the stage allows you to work on your time and get maximum pleasure at the same time. There is no series of endless hairpins or moments where you get confused and don't understand when to go next. And the most important thing is speed. You go through the most of the stage at high speed. I really like how the cuts are implemented here. You have room to take risks. Here you constantly work on your speed and your technique. Yes, this is a pretty simple stage, therefore it is very suitable for beginners. Whenever friends or relatives came to visit me, I chose this stage to demonstrate the cockpit and rally, and then I realized how good this stage is. Next on the list are 3 stages from my favorite stage creator, Barak. Actually, there is even 6 of these stages, taking into account the reverse versions. I gave all 3 stages a difficulty level of about 7 out of 10. The first stage is Rosciszow Walim. Everything comes together here. Brilliant configuration, speed and opportunity to improve your technique and, of course, quality of execution. These 3 stages are definitely in the top 10 best looking stages out of all 500. And stages with such configuration will be on my list. Special stages like Zlin stage as well as survival stages where the main task is simply to make it to the finish line were not considered by me. This is a different genre. By the way, Zlin is definitely the best of these stages. Rosciszow Walim is a very cool stage. The only negative for me is the final part is quite slippery. But in each of the stages from Barak track there are moments with challenges that require high-level concentration. Woliborz Jodlownik. You know, it's hard to choose the best stage from Barak tracks. They're all practically perfect. However, perhaps this is the stage that can bring the most pleasure if you are a fan of high-speed rallying. The entire first part of this stage is about speed, and I like it. Closer to the end of the stage there are a series of hairpins, but the hairpins are very comfortable for passing at medium speed, without using the handbrake. This is not the difficult stage if you are a careful racer, but if you like to balance at the highest possible speed, then this stage is a real piece of paradise. This is the most technical and shortest stage from Barak tracks. And this means there are more moments where fatal mistakes can be made. For me, this is another outstanding speedy stage in a beautiful natural setting. And this is the only time when reverse version surpasses the original version in terms of enjoyment. This stage is the next step in terms of difficulty. There are all kinds of turns here, including classic hairpins. And one of the main features of this stage is the road surface. The tarmac is not of the best quality, it is full of patches and cracks. And all this is felt if you have a good base. This is the best stage with this type of tarmac. But this stage is longer than previous ones, and you feel it. If you overcome the first part of this stage without any problem, then in second you're gonna get great pleasure. Because second part, as I like, is speedy one, and be careful, wild animals may run out onto the road. After Uhorna, I would like to offer you a simpler stage. Barak. This is one of the easiest stage on this list. Especially the first part is very simple. Configuration of this stage is conducive to practicing your driving skills. There are places to cut corners and places to gain maximum speed. This stage is also perfect for beginners. However, in the second part, be careful. Excessive speed can lead to a fatal mistake. Gestel I. I really like this stage, despite the fact that I gave it the maximum difficulty rating. I propose to consider this stage as a benchmark of top difficulty because there are many 90-degree turns that must be completed perfectly and without even small mistakes. This is a very technical stage. There are narrow sections on the road as well as areas with ravines on both sides of such narrow sections. At the same time, the stage made very well, and it's already a great pleasure to be on this road. I recommend studying the configuration of this stage before attempting to achieve a decent time here. This stage reminds me a lot the Col de Tourigny in Dirt Rally 2.0. I like that stage, it was fast, short and well balanced. Passo Valle looks like the first top 10, without any doubt, everything is very atmospheric. But the configuration here is not of my favorite type. Lots of twisty segments, it's too much for me. But this stage also has its own advantages, lots of steering and speed control. I like the reverse version of this stage more. Well, in the best traditions of mountain stages, be careful, there are very slippery sections here. This stage is one of the first that comes to mind when I think about RBR. I have seen this stage quite a lot in gameplay videos on YouTube. There is even a mod with this stage in Assetto Corsa. In general, this is already a legendary stage with a difficulty of 10 out of 10. A very narrow road with broken, shabby tarmac. At the same time, this stage has very good configuration. There are a lot of segments for maximum attacks, as well as segments requiring maximum caution. I would really like to try the stage in VR, because this is a stage that can stimulate your body to produce adrenaline. A phenomenal stage that every rally enthusiast must experience. The top 10 is rounded out by another legend. I think many will call this stage the most beautiful and atmospheric. I also like this stage, but I can't call it one of my favorite, like the stages from Baran tracks. Well, there is a beautiful setting here, but there's too many slippery sections, and only just before the finish line you can pick up speed. I always want to expand or straighten out the configuration of this stage a little, but each stage must have its own individual appearance and characteristics, and perhaps this stage will become your favorite. Tarmac in this stage a bit looks like Uhorna's tarmac, but this stage is more about speed and less about turns and brake pedal. And this allows you to drive with less concentration and greater speed, so this stage is more about getting pleasure. I highly recommend trying this stage, especially if you liked Uhorna. I chose the reverse version, but here this choice is not so obvious. I feel more comfortable leaving the hill on the right and the cliff on the left. It's very cool and not at all difficult, not long, speedy stage. I have already talked about this stage several times on the channel. In a nutshell, a very well made, atmospheric stage with not bad configuration. Knowing this stage will significantly help you going through it without mistakes. Both versions of this stage deserve to be on this list, but I prefer the reverse version once again. This is a bit of an unusual stage on this list. First of all, this stage is not 100% tarmac, there are short gravel segments here. And secondly, the configuration of the stage has unpredictable, in good sense, turns. The stage is made in a sunny summer setting, and I love how diverse the stage is. There are many surprises and pleasant speedy sections here. It's awesome stage. And this is only half of tarmac goodies. There will be a lot interesting stages in second part. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss my new videos. And the most important, have a good stage.